What would you do if you discovered your spouse's girls' trip was actually a romantic getaway with someone else? That's exactly what happened to me. I'm Marcus. Before diving into the main story, kindly hit the subscribe button and let me know where you're watching from in the comments section. If you've already subscribed to my channel, thank you. I truly appreciate your support. So now, without wasting any time, let's start the main story. I remember the day I first met Sophia. It was at a coffee shop downtown, the one with the blue awning and the cranky barista who somehow made the best lattes in the city. I had spilled my coffee all over her white blouse. Nice move, Marcus. I'm so sorry, I said, grabbing napkins from the counter. Please, let me pay for dry cleaning. She looked down at the brown stain spreading across her shirt and then up at me. Instead of being angry, she laughed. That laugh, it was like music. Well, she said, this is one way to make an impression on someone. 8 years later, we were married and living in our dream home. A 3-bedroom house in the suburbs with a yard big enough for the kids we planned to have someday. I worked as a software developer for a tech company downtown, and Sophia had climbed her way up to marketing executive at her firm. We had date nights every Friday, vacationed twice a year, and had a savings account that made our parents proud. From the outside, our life was perfect. But perfection doesn't last forever, does it? The first changes were small. Sophia started working later. Our Friday date nights became monthly, then rarely happened at all. We'd pass each other in the kitchen, exchanging quick updates instead of conversations. How was your day? I'd ask. Busy. Big project. You? Same. And that was it. When did we stop talking? When did we stop listening? One night, I cooked her favorite meal. Chicken parmesan with that fancy pasta she loved. I set the table with candles and opened a bottle of wine from our wedding year. Sophia came home 2 hours late. I'm sorry, she said, dropping her bag by the door. Meeting ran long. She didn't mention the cold food or the melted candles. I noticed other changes too. She bought new clothes, not just work attire, but dresses that she'd never worn around me. She started hitting the gym 5 times a week. Her phone was always face down, and sometimes I'd catch her smiling at text messages she'd quickly hide when I walked into the room. My friend Dave noticed it when he and his wife came over for dinner. Everything okay with you two? He asked when Sophia was in the kitchen with his wife Kelly. Yeah, why? Dave shrugged. I don't know, man. Something seems off. I brushed it off, but his words stuck with me. Was something off? I didn't want to be that guy, the jealous, insecure husband who checks his wife's phone. I trusted Sophia. We had built a life together. It was a Tuesday morning when she mentioned the trip. The girls are planning a weekend in Miami, she said, pouring coffee into her travel mug. Next month, Thursday through Sunday. The girls? I asked. Which girls? You know, Olivia, Rachel, and Jen, from college. I nodded. I knew them, but Sophia hadn't mentioned them in months. Last I heard, Rachel had moved to Seattle. Sounds fun, I said. What's the occasion? Just a reunion. It's been too long since we all got together. After that conversation, Sophia seemed happier, more energetic. She talked more at dinner, asked about my day again. I thought maybe we were getting back on track. Then came the night I heard her on the phone in our home office. I was walking past to get water when her voice drifted through the cracked door. I know. I can't wait to see you there, she said, her voice soft with a tone I hadn't heard her use in a long time. The room is booked. 3 whole days. My heart stopped. I stood frozen in the hallway. I'll tell him I'm with the girls. He won't suspect anything. I backed away quietly, my mind racing. There had to be an explanation. Maybe I misheard. Maybe she was planning a surprise for me. But deep down, I knew. The next day, I casually asked, So where are you guys staying in Miami? Sophia didn't look up from her laptop. The Palm Resort. Olivia found a deal. I nodded and went back to washing dishes. That night, I couldn't sleep. Sophia lay beside me, peaceful, while my thoughts spun like a hurricane. Who was she talking to? What was happening to our marriage? A week later, I was looking for our insurance card in Sophia's desk drawer when I found the confirmation email. Not for the Palm Resort in Miami, but for the Ocean View Hotel in Key West. For 2 people. My hands shook as I put everything back exactly as I'd found it. I didn't confront her. Not yet. I needed to be sure. The day before her trip, Sophia was packing while I pretended to read a book in our bedroom. "Do you need a ride to the airport tomorrow?" I asked, trying to keep my voice steady. "No, that's okay. Olivia's picking me up." "Text me when you land?" She smiled. "Of course." That night, Sophia fell asleep quickly, her phone on the nightstand. The screen lit up with a message. I shouldn't look, I told myself. But I did. The text was from someone named James. "Tomorrow can't come soon enough. 3 days together. Just you and me." My world shattered right there in our dark bedroom. The wife I loved, the life we'd built, was it all a lie? I put her phone back and stared at the ceiling, tears running down my face. Tomorrow, Sophia would leave for her girls' trip, and I had a decision to make. Morning came too quickly. I hadn't slept more than an hour, my mind racing with images of Sophia with another man. Who was James? How long had this been going on? I watched through half-closed eyes as she packed her final items, humming softly. "I packed you some leftovers in the fridge," she said, leaning down to kiss my forehead. "I'll call you when I land." I forced a smile. "Have fun with the girls." The moment the front door closed, I jumped out of bed. My hands were shaking so badly I could barely dial my brother's number. "Lucas? I need you to come over, now." 30 minutes later, Lucas was sitting across from me at the kitchen table, his face grim as I showed him the text from James. "Damn, Marcus. I'm so sorry." He ran a hand through his hair. "Are you sure, though? Maybe there's an explanation." "What explanation could there possibly be?" My voice cracked. "She's meeting a man named James for 3 days in Key West while telling me she's with her friends in Miami." Lucas nodded slowly. "Okay, what do you want to do?" I took a deep breath. "I need to know for sure. I can't confront her without evidence." "Let's start with Olivia," Lucas suggested. "She's supposed to be on this trip, right?" I called Olivia right away, putting the phone on speaker. "Hey, Marcus, what's up?" Olivia sounded nervous from the moment she answered. "Hey, Sophia left her charger. Could you put her on?" A pause. Too long of a pause. She's in the shower right now. We just got to the hotel." "Great. How's Miami? Which hotel did you end up at again?" Another pause. "The Palm Palace? I think that's what it's called." Lucas raised his eyebrows at me. The lie was unraveling. "Thanks, Olivia. Tell Sophia to call me when she's out of the shower." After hanging up, I checked our shared location app. Sophia had forgotten to turn it off. The blue dot showed her not in Miami, but exactly where I feared, Key West. "She's really there," I whispered, showing Lucas my phone. "Let's check your credit card statements," Lucas suggested. We logged into our joint account, and there it was. A reservation at the Ocean View Hotel in Key West and a dinner reservation for 2 at an expensive seafood restaurant called The Pearl. My stomach twisted into knots. "I need to know who James is." Lucas looked at me. "Social media?" We spent the next hour looking through Sophia's Instagram and Facebook. Nothing obvious at first, until Lucas found something. "Look at the comments on this photo of her company holiday party." There was a comment from a James Miller that said, "You light up the room." Sophia had replied with a simple heart emoji. "Let's look at his profile," Lucas said. James Miller was one of Sophia's colleagues. Good-looking guy, around my age. His most recent post was a beach photo captioned, "Weekend getaway starting tomorrow. Much-needed break." The location tag? Key West. I felt sick. I need to be sure they're together. It was Lucas who suggested the call that would confirm everything. Call the hotel and ask to be connected to her room. With a shaking voice, I called the Ocean View Hotel. "Hi, can you connect me to Sophia Carter's room?" "One moment, sir." The phone rang 3 times before a man answered. "Hello?" I hung up immediately, my worst fears confirmed. My wife was in a hotel room with another man. "What now?" Lucas asked quietly. I sat in silence for a long moment. 8 years of marriage, countless memories, all tainted now. "Now I wait for her to lie to me again," I said. Right on cue, my phone buzzed with a text from Sophia. "Just landed in Miami. The weather is perfect. Miss you already." Attached was a photo of her with a cocktail, the ocean in the background. I recognized it as a photo from our trip to Cancun last year. "She's using old photos to cover her tracks," I said, showing Lucas the text. "You need to confront her," Lucas said. "Not yet. I need more." The next morning, Sophia called me while I was making coffee. "Hey, babe, we're heading to the beach. The girls say hi." I could hear music in the background, but no female voices. "Sounds fun. Where are you staying again?" The Palm Resort, she said without hesitation. It's gorgeous. I'll send you pics later. Great. How's Rachel? She's good, excited about the baby. I clenched my fist. Rachel wasn't pregnant. Another lie. Have fun, I managed to say before hanging up. Throughout the day, Sophia sent more fake updates. Photos from old trips, stories about what the girls were doing. Each message was another knife in my heart. That evening, I checked our credit card again. A charge from the Pearl restaurant had posted, $287 for dinner for two, including 2 bottles of champagne. I can't take this anymore, I told Lucas, who had stayed with me, worried about my state of mind. What are you going to do? I stared at my phone, at the fake happy texts from the woman I thought I knew. She made a fool of me, Lucas. She's laughing at me with him right now. Something snapped inside me. The pain, the betrayal, the humiliation, it was too much. I'm going to make sure everyone knows who she really is. Marcus, think about this. But I wasn't thinking anymore. I was hurting and wanted her to hurt too. I pulled out my laptop and opened Facebook. What are you doing? Lucas asked, concerned. I'm going live. I'm exposing everything. Lucas tried to stop me. This isn't the way. You'll regret it. Maybe he was right, but at that moment, I didn't care. I felt betrayed, humiliated, and heartbroken. I wanted everyone to know what Sophia had done. I wanted her perfect image shattered like my heart. I need to do this, Lucas. I need to take back some control. With hands that no longer shook, I pressed the Go Live button on Facebook and watched as viewers began to join. Hey everyone, I said, forcing a calm I didn't feel. I have a story to share with you today. It's about trust, betrayal, and a girl's trip that never existed. As more people joined the live stream, I began laying out my evidence one piece at a time, unaware of the storm I was about to unleash not just on Sophia, but on both of our lives. Hello, everyone, I said to the camera, my voice steadier than I expected. Many of you know my wife Sophia and me. You've liked our vacation photos, congratulated us on anniversaries, called us couple goals. I paused, looking at the viewer count climbing, friends, family, co-workers, all joining to see what Marcus Carter was doing on Facebook Live at 9 p.m. on a Friday. What you don't know is that right now, Sophia isn't on a girl's trip to Miami like she told me. She's in Key West with a man named James Miller. The comments started pouring in. Confusion, shock, disbelief. I know this sounds crazy, I didn't want to believe it either, but I have proof, and I'm going to share it with all of you. Lucas stood off camera, shaking his head. Marcus, please think about this. I ignored him and held up my phone to the camera. This is a text from James to my wife. Tomorrow can't come soon enough. 3 days together. Just you and me. I switched screens to show our location sharing app. This is Sophia's current location, not Miami, Key West. The comments were coming faster now. OMG, is this for real? Marcus, are you okay? This is private, man. Take this down. But I couldn't stop. The dam had broken. Here's our credit card statement showing a reservation at the Ocean View Hotel in Key West for 2 people, and here's a dinner reservation for 2 at the Pearl restaurant. I switched to her social media. And here's James Miller, her coworker, who coincidentally is also in Key West this weekend. I showed them the old photos she'd been sending me, then the originals from our previous trips. She's been lying to my face while I've been sitting here like an idiot. My voice cracked then, the emotion finally breaking through. 8 years of marriage, 8 years, and this is what it comes to. The viewer count had reached over 200 people. I recognized names from both our families, friends from college, colleagues from work. I was burning every bridge, but I couldn't bring myself to care. And you want to know the worst part? She's still lying. Got this text an hour ago. I showed her latest message. Having so much fun with the girls. Wish you could see this sunset. My laugh was bitter. The sunset she's watching is with James, not the girls. Lucas stepped into frame then, putting his hand on my shoulder. That's enough, Marcus. End the stream. I shook him off. No, everyone thinks they have the perfect marriage. Everyone thinks they know who they married. I thought I knew her too. My phone started ringing. Sophia's face appeared on the screen. The irony of her calling now wasn't lost on me. Well, would you look at that? Let's see what my wife has to say. I answered the call on speakerphone. Marcus? Are you there? Sophia's voice was panicked. I'm here, Sophia. So are about 250 of our closest friends and family. You're on Facebook Live. A gasp. What? What are you talking about? How's Miami? How are the girls? How's pregnant Rachel? Silence. Nothing to say. How about we try some different questions? How's Key West? How's James? How's the Ocean View Hotel? Marcus, please. Please what, Sophia? Please don't tell everyone you've been cheating on me. Please don't mention you're sharing a hotel room with your coworker while sending me fake pictures. Her voice dropped to a whisper. Turn off the video, Marcus. We need to talk privately. Like how you privately booked a romantic getaway with another man. No thanks. You don't understand. I understand perfectly. You're a liar and a cheater, and now everyone knows it. The comments were flooding in so fast I couldn't read them anymore. People were tagging Sophia, tagging James, sharing the live stream. Marcus, please stop this. You're going to regret it. The only thing I regret is the last 8 years with you. She started to cry then. Part of me wanted to comfort her, a reflex from years of loving her, but the larger part was still burning with rage and humiliation. Where's James? I asked. Is he there listening? Hey, James. Hope you know she snores when she's had too much wine. Stop it, Sophia sobbed. Just stop. This isn't you, Marcus. And the woman cheating on her husband isn't you, yet here we are. Lucas tried again to end the stream, but I pushed his hand away. I trusted you, Sophia. I loved you, and you threw it all away for what? Some fling with a coworker? It's not a fling, she whispered. Those 4 words hit me like a truck. Not a fling. Something more. Something worse. How long? My voice was deadly quiet now. How long has this been going on? She didn't answer. How long? 6 months, she finally said. 6 months. Half a year of lies. Of coming home late. Of working weekends. Of distant kisses and distracted conversations. I looked directly into the camera. You hear that, everyone? 6 months. My wife has been cheating on me for 6 months. I'm coming home, Sophia said. We need to talk face to face. Don't bother. There's nothing to say. Marcus, enjoy the rest of your trip with James. Your stuff will be packed when you get back. I hung up the phone and stared at the camera for a long moment. The comments were still pouring in, but they were a blur now. What had I done? The anger that had fueled me was draining away, leaving only emptiness. That's it, folks, I said flatly. Show's over. I ended the live stream and sat in silence. Lucas put his hand on my shoulder. You okay? I looked up at my brother, tears finally spilling over. No, I'm not okay at all. My phone started blowing up immediately. Calls from Sophia's parents, from my parents, from friends wanting to check on me. I turned it off. What have I done, Lucas? He sat beside me. You were hurt. You lashed out. I just destroyed my marriage in front of everyone we know. She destroyed your marriage, Marcus. You just made it public. But even as he said it, I wasn't sure anymore. Yes, Sophia had cheated. But what I'd just done, was that any better? People are going to choose sides, I said, the reality of the situation sinking in. This is going to get ugly. Lucas nodded. Probably, but I'm on your side, no matter what. I thought about Sophia, about the tears in her voice. 6 months with James. What had I been doing for those 6 months? Working late, coming home too tired to talk, assuming everything was fine because I was too busy to notice it wasn't. Did that excuse her cheating? No. Never. But as the adrenaline wore off, I started to see the wreckage I'd created with my impulsive live stream. I need to be alone, I told Lucas. After he left, I sat in our dark living room, surrounded by photos of happier times. I picked up our wedding picture from the mantel, Sophia in her white dress, me in my tux, both of us beaming at the camera. What happened to us? I whispered to the smiling faces frozen in time. My phone kept vibrating on the coffee table. Finally, I turned it on to see dozens of missed calls, hundreds of notifications. The video had been shared over 50 times already. Comments were still pouring in on my profile. One text caught my eye. It wasn't from Sophia, but from Olivia. I'm so sorry, Marcus. I never should have covered for her. I told her this was wrong. Please call me if you need to talk. So Olivia had known. Had everyone known? Had I been the only one in the dark? I threw the phone across the room and buried my face in my hands. In a single night, everything had changed. My marriage, my reputation, my future. And somewhere in Key West, Sophia was packing her bags, preparing to return to the ruins of the life we'd built together. I didn't sleep that night. How could I? Our bed felt too big, too empty, yet somehow suffocating at the same time. I kept checking my phone, watching as the fallout from my live stream spread like wildfire. By morning, the video had over 5,000 views and hundreds of comments. Some people supported me. Stay strong, Marcus. She didn't deserve you, man. What she did was unforgivable. Others criticized my public approach. This should have been handled privately. Both of you look bad now. You'll regret this when the anger fades. Maybe they were right. As the sun rose, casting long shadows across our bedroom, the room we'd painted together, laughing as we got more paint on each other than the walls, the weight of what I'd done settled on my chest. My phone rang. My mother. "Marcus," she said when I answered, her voice gentle but firm. "What have you done?" "Mom, she cheated on me. For 6 months. I know, sweetheart, and that's terrible. But putting it all on Facebook? That's not the son I raised." Her words stung because I knew she was right. I'd acted out of pain and rage, not thinking about consequences. "Sophia's parents called me," she continued. "They're worried sick. She turned off her phone after your call." A pang of worry cut through my anger. "Is she okay?" "I don't know. Nobody does. That's what happens when you turn private pain into public spectacle. Things spiral out of control." After talking with my mother, I checked my email. 3 messages from work, all with some variation of, "Can we talk?" My boss wanted me in his office first thing Monday. Great. Around noon, the doorbell rang. I opened it to find Olivia standing there, eyes red from crying. "Can I come in?" she asked. I stepped aside, letting her enter the house that now felt like a museum of my failed marriage. "I'm so sorry, Marcus," Olivia said, sitting on the edge of our couch. "I should have told you." "How long have you known?" She stared at her hands. "About James? 2 months. But I knew something was wrong before that. She was different." "Why didn't you say anything?" "She's been my friend since college. She swore it was over, that she was going to end it with him and work on your marriage." Olivia looked up, tears in her eyes. "I told her not to go on this trip. I begged her." I laughed bitterly. "Well, at least someone tried to save my marriage." "What you did last night, Marcus, it was brutal. She deserved it. Maybe. But did her parents? Your parents? Your friends at work? Everyone's involved now, whether they want to be or not." I hadn't thought about that. In my pain, I dragged everyone into our mess. "James deleted all his social media accounts this morning," Olivia continued. "His wife found out through your video." I froze. "His wife? James is married?" Olivia nodded slowly. "With 2 kids." The revelation hit me like a punch to the gut. Another family torn apart. Children caught in the middle. My actions had consequences beyond my own broken heart. "I didn't know," I whispered. "That's the problem with public shaming, Marcus. There's always collateral damage." After Olivia left, I sat staring at the blank TV screen, thinking about James's wife, learning about her husband's affair through my vindictive broadcast. What must she be going through right now? My phone buzzed with a text from Sophia. "Landing in 3 hours. We need to talk." I didn't respond. What was there to say? Instead, I started packing her things. Each item held memories. The sweater she wore on our first date, the jewelry box I gave her for our 5th anniversary, photos from happier times. I worked methodically, trying to compartmentalize my emotions just to get through it. Lucas came by to check on me. "How you holding up?" "I've been better." I handed him a beer from the fridge. "Did you know James is married? Has kids?" Lucas winced. "No, that's messed up. And I dragged them into this with my stupid video. You couldn't have known. I should have thought before I acted." I took a long swig of beer. "Mom called. She's disappointed in me." "Moms always are." Lucas attempted a smile. "But she loves you. Everyone does." "Not everyone." We sat in silence for a while, drinking our beers. "What are you going to do when Sophia gets here?" Lucas finally asked. "I don't know." I looked around at the half-packed boxes. I can't even look at her right now. "Want me to stay?" I shook my head. This is between me and her. After Lucas left, I checked Facebook again. The comments on my video had taken a darker turn, with people I barely knew offering their harsh opinions on my marriage. Some called Sophia horrible names. Others suggested I must have been a terrible husband to drive her to cheat. People were picking sides in a fight they knew nothing about. I shut off my laptop, disgusted with myself for starting this public circus. At 5:38 p.m., I heard a key in the lock. My heart pounded as the door opened. Sophia stood in the doorway, looking nothing like the confident woman who had left just 2 days ago. Her eyes were swollen from crying, her hair pulled back messily. She wore no makeup, and her shoulders slumped with exhaustion. For a moment we just stared at each other, the weight of our broken vows filling the space between us. "You're packing my things," she finally said, noticing the boxes. "Did you expect a welcome home party?" She flinched at my tone, but didn't fire back. Instead, she set her suitcase down and closed the door behind her. "We need to talk, Marcus." "About what? How you've been sleeping with a married man for 6 months? Or about how I exposed you? Take your pick." She walked to the living room and sat in the armchair across from me, not her usual spot next to me on the couch. The physical distance mirrored the emotional gulf between us. "Both," she said quietly. "Everything." I crossed my arms, armor against whatever excuses she was about to offer. "So talk." Sophia took a deep breath. "What I did was wrong. Inexcusably wrong. I betrayed you, our vows, everything we built together." I hadn't expected her to start with an admission of guilt. It took the wind out of my sails. "Why?" I asked, the question that had been burning inside me since I saw that first text. "Why James? Why anyone?" She looked down at her hands. "It started as just talks. He would listen to me. Really listen. I felt seen again." "I see you." Her eyes met mine. "When was the last time we really talked, Marcus? Not about bills or schedules or whose turn it was to call the plumber." "That's what marriage is. Real life." "No, that's what our marriage became. We used to talk about dreams, ideas, feelings. When did we stop doing that?" I wanted to argue, but memories flashed through my mind. Coming home late, half listening while checking emails, conversations reduced to logistical exchanges. "That doesn't justify cheating," I said firmly. "No, it doesn't. Nothing does." Tears welled in her eyes. "I should have talked to you. I should have told you I was unhappy. I should have suggested counseling. Instead, I took the coward's way out." Her honesty was disarming. I'd expected denials, blame-shifting, attacks about my Facebook video, not this raw accountability. "And James?" I couldn't help asking. "Did you know he's married? That he has kids?" Sophia closed her eyes, pain washing over her face. "Yes, I knew. That makes it even worse, doesn't it? I've hurt so many people." The admission hung in the air between us. "Your Facebook video destroyed his family too," she said quietly. "His wife kicked him out this morning." I should have felt vindicated. Instead, I felt sick. "I wasn't thinking about his family," I admitted. "I just wanted to hurt you like you hurt me." We sat in silence for a long moment. Two people who once promised to love each other forever, now unsure if we even knew each other at all. "What happens now?" Sophia finally asked, looking at the boxes surrounding us. It was the question I'd been avoiding since that first text from James. What did happen now? Could a marriage survive this kind of betrayal? This kind of public humiliation? Did I even want it to? Looking at Sophia, the woman I'd loved for a decade, the woman who had lied to my face for months, I honestly didn't know. "I think you should stay with your sister for a while," I finally said to Sophia. "I need space to think." She nodded, accepting my decision without argument. "I'll finish packing tomorrow. I'll be at Lucas's place. You can have the house to yourself." That night, lying on Lucas's pull-out couch, sleep eluded me again. My phone buzzed with a text from my boss. "Take the week off, Marcus. We'll talk when you're ready." News of my public meltdown had spread beyond social media. My entire life was unraveling. The next morning, Lucas made coffee while I stared blankly at the wall. "You know what the worst part is?" I said. "Yesterday was our anniversary." Lucas nearly dropped the coffee pot. "What? May 15th? I nodded. 8 years. With everything that happened, I completely forgot until last night. "Did Sophia remember?" "I don't know. She didn't mention it." Lucas sat across from me. "Maybe that's why she was in such a hurry to come home. Maybe she was planning to end it with James, start fresh with you. Or maybe she just got caught and was doing damage control." I took the coffee he offered. "Either way, it doesn't change what she did. What I did." "So what now, bro?" "I don't know. I can't even go into work right now. Everyone's seen the video." "About that," Lucas hesitated. "Have you thought about taking it down?" I hadn't. In the chaos of confronting Sophia, I'd forgotten the video was still up, still being shared, still causing damage. "I'll delete it today," I decided. After breakfast, I returned home to pack some clothes. The house was quiet. Sophia had already taken her things and gone to her sister's. A note sat on the kitchen counter. Marcus, I've taken what I need for now. I'll respect your space. When you're ready to talk, really talk, I'll be here. Whatever happens next, I'm sorry for the pain I've caused you. Sophia. Next to the note was a small gift box. Inside was the watch I'd been eyeing for months but couldn't justify buying. The card read, Happy Anniversary. Despite everything, these 8 years have been the best of my life. She had remembered. I sank into a chair, turning the watch over in my hands. Such a normal gift for such an abnormal time. What was I supposed to feel? Gratitude? Both churned inside me, along with the confusing realization that despite everything, I still loved her. That afternoon, I deleted the Facebook video. Too late, of course. Nothing is ever truly gone from the internet, but it felt like the right thing to do. I also posted a brief message. To everyone who viewed and shared my recent video, I acted out of pain and anger. While my pain was real, my method of handling it was wrong. I apologize to those who were hurt by my public actions, especially the innocent parties caught in the crossfire. I ask for privacy as we navigate this difficult time. The responses were surprisingly supportive. Many people messaged me privately, sharing their own stories of betrayal and forgiveness, or choosing to walk away. Their experiences helped me see that there was no perfect path forward, just the one that would bring me peace. A week passed. I returned to work, enduring the awkward silences and concerned looks. My boss was understanding but firm. Your work performance has always been excellent, Marcus, he said. But we need to know this won't happen again. Personal issues need to stay personal. I understand. It was a one-time mistake that won't be repeated. Good, and just so you know, Sophia has taken a leave of absence from her company. James has been transferred to the Seattle office. So many lives changed because of our actions. Mine, Sophia's, James's, his wife and children, our families, even our co-workers. After 2 weeks of separation, I agreed to meet Sophia at a coffee shop downtown, neutral territory. She was already there when I arrived, nursing a cup of tea. She looked thinner, tired, but composed. Thank you for coming, she said as I sat down. Thanks for the watch. I showed her my wrist where I wore it, a peace offering of sorts. She smiled slightly. You look good. I don't feel good, I admitted, but I'm getting through each day. Me too. We sat in awkward silence for a moment, these strangers who knew each other's deepest secrets. I've been seeing a therapist, Sophia finally said. Twice a week. Is it helping? She nodded. It's making me face some hard truths about myself. Why I did what I did, why I was so willing to hurt you, to hurt James's family. And why was that? I couldn't help asking. She took a deep breath. I was empty, Marcus, for a long time. I kept waiting for you to notice, but you were so wrapped up in work, in your own stress. When James paid attention to me, made me feel wanted. She trailed off. It doesn't excuse it. Nothing does. But that's what happened. I thought about the months before the affair, how disconnected we'd been. I wasn't really there for you, I admitted. Not in the way you needed. And I didn't tell you what I needed. I expected you to just know, which isn't fair. We both failed at communication. She reached across the table, not quite touching my hand. But only I broke our vows. Only I lied. I need you to know how deeply sorry I am, Marcus. I believed her. Despite everything, I could see the genuine remorse in her eyes. And James? I had to ask. Over. Completely. He's moving to Seattle with his family. His wife decided to try to work things out. I nodded, surprising myself with a flash of hope for them. If his marriage could survive, could ours? I've been thinking about us, I said carefully. About what happened, about what I did with that video. You were hurt. You lashed out. That's not an excuse either. I humiliated you publicly. I hurt innocent people. We're quite a pair, aren't we? She said with a sad smile, both capable of hurting each other in such profound ways. I looked at the woman across from me, not just my cheating wife, but Sophia, the girl who laughed when I spilled coffee on her, the woman who held my hand at my grandmother's funeral, the partner who celebrated every small victory with me. I don't know if we can fix this, I said honestly, but I think, maybe, we should try. Her eyes filled with tears. Really? With help, professional help, and ground rules, and it might not work. I know, but I want to try too. She wiped away a tear. I never stopped loving you, Marcus, even when I was at my worst, making the worst decisions of my life. I never stopped loving you either. That's why it hurt so much. We didn't hug or kiss goodbye. We weren't ready for that. But for the first time since finding that text from James, I felt something like hope. The road ahead would be long and difficult. Trust, once broken, doesn't mend easily. But as I watched Sophia walk away, I realized that whatever happened next, whether we saved our marriage or went our separate ways, I needed to find forgiveness. For Sophia. For myself. That night, I received a text from her. Thank you for today, for being willing to try. I looked at our wedding photo, still sitting on my nightstand despite everything. One day at a time, I texted back. It wasn't much, but it was a start. 6 months can change everything. That's how long it had been since I discovered Sophia's affair. 6 months since my public Facebook meltdown. 6 months of therapy, individual and couples, of hard conversations, of rebuilding from the ashes of what we once had. Today was our first session with a new therapist. Dr. Jensen had retired last month and we were starting fresh with Dr. Rivera. I sat in the waiting room, nervously checking my watch, the anniversary watch that had become a symbol of our complicated journey. Sophia rushed in, slightly breathless. Sorry I'm late. Traffic was terrible. It's okay. We still have 5 minutes. She sat beside me, her shoulder lightly touching mine. 6 months ago, such casual contact would have been unimaginable. Now it felt like progress. Dr. Rivera called us in, a warm-faced woman with kind eyes. So, she said once we were seated, Dr. Jensen sent over your files, but I'd like to hear from you. Where are you both in your journey right now? Sophia and I exchanged glances, silently deciding who would go first. We're better, I finally said. Not healed, not perfect, but better. Sophia nodded. We've been living together again for 2 months, taking it slow. And the trust issues? Dr. Rivera asked, looking at me. I took a deep breath. Still there. I don't check her phone anymore or track her location, but sometimes when she's late coming home, I trailed off. You wonder, Dr. Rivera finished for me. Yes. That's natural, Marcus, she assured me. Trust isn't rebuilt overnight. I know, and I'm trying. Sophia reached for my hand. He is. He really is. After the session, we walked to a nearby park, our new tradition after therapy. The fresh air helped clear our heads, made it easier to process the emotional workout we'd just been through. Dr. Rivera seems good, Sophia said as we strolled past a playground where children were laughing and playing. Different from Dr. Jensen, but I like her approach. We found our usual bench and sat down. The afternoon sun felt warm on my face as I considered how to bring up what had been on my mind lately. I saw James's wife yesterday, I said finally. Sophia tensed beside me. Where? At the grocery store. She was with her kids. Did she see you? I nodded. We talked briefly. What did she say? I remembered the encounter, how my heart had raced when I spotted her in the produce section, how I'd considered avoiding her but chose to face her instead. She's doing okay. They moved back from Seattle. James got a job with a different company here. They stayed together? Sophia sounded surprised. They're working on it, like us. I paused. She thanked me. Thanked you? For what? For taking down the video. For the apology I sent them. I turned to look at Sophia. She said finding out was devastating, but it forced them to face problems they'd been ignoring for years. Sophia was quiet for a long moment. Do you think we would have faced our problems if you hadn't found out? It was the question that haunted both of us. Would we have drifted further apart until there was nothing left? Or would we have found our way back to each other without the trauma? I don't know, I answered honestly. I'd like to think we would have figured it out eventually. But maybe we were both too comfortable with being uncomfortable. She nodded, understanding exactly what I meant. We had grown so used to our disconnection that it had become our normal. I have something to show you, I said, pulling out my phone. I opened Facebook and handed it to her. Sophia looked confused until she saw what I was showing her. My relationship status changed from "it's complicated" back to "married to Sophia Carter." Her eyes filled with tears. When did you do this? This morning. I was waiting for the right time to tell you. Are you sure? People will talk. Let them talk. I'm not ashamed of fighting for our marriage. She leaned her head on my shoulder, a gesture that had once been so natural, but now felt precious in its rarity. Thank you, she whispered. We sat in comfortable silence for a while, watching the children play, the couples walking hand in hand, the old man feeding pigeons nearby, ordinary people living ordinary lives, each with their own invisible struggles and triumphs. I had lunch with Lucas yesterday, I said. He's still worried about us. Sophia smiled. Your brother has always been protective of you. He asked me if I've forgiven you. She tensed slightly. What did you tell him? It was the question at the heart of everything. The affair, the public exposure, the months of therapy and tears and slow, painful rebuilding. I told him I'm working on it, that forgiveness isn't a single moment but a process. I took her hand, and that I'm committed to that process. And has he forgiven me? I thought about my brother who had stood by me through my darkest moments. He's working on it too. He loves you, Sophia. We all do. We decided to have dinner at our favorite Italian restaurant that night, the place where we'd had our rehearsal dinner before the wedding. The owner, Giorgio, greeted us with surprised delight. The Carters! Together again! This makes my heart happy! We were shown to a quiet table in the corner, the same one where we'd had our first date over a decade ago. Remember how nervous I was? I asked as we looked at the menus. Sophia laughed. You knocked over your water glass, reaching for the bread. And you pretended not to notice. That's when I knew you were special. The easy conversation, the shared memories, they felt both familiar and new, like rediscovering a favorite song. Over pasta and wine, we talked about the future for the first time in months. Not just getting through the next therapy session or weekend, but real future plans. I've been thinking about that trip to Italy we always talked about. Sophia said, maybe next summer? It was a tentative step into tomorrow, an expression of hope that we'd still be together, still healing, still moving forward. I'd like that, I said, meaning it. Later that night, back home in the bedroom we'd only recently started sharing again, Sophia turned to me in the darkness. Do you ever wonder what would have happened if I had actually gone on a girls' trip that weekend? If none of this had happened? I thought about the question. Sometimes. But I can't change what happened. Neither can you. I know. But sometimes I wish I could go back and shake myself, make myself see what I was risking before I actually lost it. I reached for her hand under the covers. You didn't lose it. We're still here. Not the same as before. No, I agreed. Maybe better in some ways. More honest. She shifted closer. I love you, Marcus. I know I haven't earned the right to say that freely yet, but it's true. I never stopped. The words hung in the air between us. I hadn't said those 3 words to her since discovering the affair. I'd shown it in other ways, moving back in, wearing the watch, changing my Facebook status, but the actual words had stuck in my throat. I love you too, I finally said. That's why this has been so hard. That's why it's worth fighting for. I felt her tears before I heard them, warm droplets falling onto our joined hands. We're going to be okay, aren't we? She whispered. I thought about our journey. The betrayal, the public humiliation, the long months of rebuilding trust one painful day at a time. I thought about James and his wife, working through their own version of this same struggle. I thought about all the people who had reached out to share their stories of marriages broken and mended. Yes, I said with more certainty than I'd felt in a long time. We're going to be okay. Not perfect, not unmarked by the past, but okay, together, moving forward one day at a time. The next morning, I woke before Sophia. I watched her sleeping peacefully beside me, her face relaxed in a way it rarely was during waking hours. There was still so much work ahead of us, triggers to navigate, trust to rebuild, patterns to change. But as the early morning light filtered through our bedroom window, illuminating this flawed, complicated, resilient love we'd fought so hard to save, I felt something I hadn't felt in a very long time. Hope. Not the desperate hope of those first dark days after discovery, the kind that clings to any possibility just to survive. This was different, calmer, more grounded in reality. I had no illusions that our future would be easy. There would be days when the past came roaring back, when forgiveness felt impossible, when the wounds seemed too deep to ever fully heal. But there would also be days like today, quiet mornings, shared meals, small moments of connection that reminded us why we chose each other in the first place, and why we chose each other again after everything fell apart. Sophia stirred, opening her eyes slowly. She smiled when she saw me. "Good morning," she murmured. "Good morning," I replied, meaning it. It was a good morning. Another day, another chance to rebuild what we had broken, to create something stronger from the pieces. She reached for my hand, and I gave it freely. Not forgetting, but forgiving. Not ignoring the past, but not letting it dictate our future either. This was our new beginning. Imperfect, honest, and entirely our own. And that's the end of my story. Please hit the subscribe button to subscribe my channel. If you've already subscribed, thank you. I truly appreciate your support. Feel free to share your thoughts in the comments section. I'll definitely read and reply to your comments. See you soon in the next video. Until then, take care of yourself. Bye-bye.